Do you name yourself? When you talk to people, do you say, I am this or I have this? Like ADHD is a favorite one, or, do you actually call yourself something? There's a few names out there in the spiritual world that is a little tricky. We're going to talk about that. People that say that they are starseeds, Arcturians, I've heard that one recently. I'm going to talk about this, why I think it could possibly be a lot of BS. That's my channel, Uncut with Landria. Let's go. Welcome to Landria Uncut. Raw, real, and uncut. Well, welcome to Uncut with Landria. What is this? We cut through the BS. Let's be really honest about things, right? Let's talk about spirituality in a way that's like, come on, get with it. We're not a bunch of woo-woo crackpots anymore. There's science behind all this spirituality, and it's actually just not spirituality. It is the quantum field of all things. You are energy. You've never been created nor destroyed. You transform from something that's always existed. We can't imagine that because we have, beginnings and endings here. So let's talk about this, because if you've been to my other channel, I get a lot of comments. And recently, and this is not unusual, somebody said that I was wrong about a certain prediction that was made in my video, which wasn't mine at all. It was just somebody else's prediction that I was sharing. And that they knew because they are Arcturian. Well, I went to their channel, and they're definitely not Arcturian. But the comments that this person made were extremely negative. They were ragging on Charlie Kirk, who just recently got, murdered for speaking up. And he apparently, I don't know what his stance is. I just know that we should be peaceful people and respect each other's opinions no matter what, as long as they're peaceful. He had an opinion about transsexuals, transgenders, things like that. Not sure what his stance is, but apparently he's conservative, so I can probably guess what it is. Well, sure enough, this person was of that nature. Fine. So the comment was that Charlie needs to go get his head fixed, and they should have been corrected and helped. I said, isn't that the exact same thing that you're doing, right? Is telling somebody that they need to be a certain way. So why would you speak like that? And they said, well, I'm Arcturian. So I think this is a load of BS. Why? Whenever we name ourselves something, we're just really not in that space of recognizing that we are none of these things. We are playing out a role. You can call me Landria. You can call me anything. Don't call me late for dinner. Okay, that was corny. But the question is, are you calling yourself something? I hear a lot of, I'm a starseed. Well, where did you get that? Somebody had to tell you that somewhere. If you grew up in the woods as a wolf child, would you know you're a starseed? Would you use that term? No, of course you wouldn't. You'd go, tweet, tweet, because you'd be communicating with animals. Okay, I'm getting silly here. But no, you would not. You probably wouldn't even speak English. You would have no names for anything, right? Well, you might just to communicate, but you would not call yourself anything. So the question is, are you naming yourself something? And be careful with that. Because when you do, you put yourself in a box. Second of all, if you're naming yourself as an alien, what is behind that? Usually, somebody is not feeling worthy. They have to choose a name or a position to place themselves in importance. And I get it. There's a lot of insecurity out there. If you need to be a starseed or a new waver or an Arcturian, go for it. But ask yourself, is that really who you are? Because you're not this. So you can't really be that either, because we're not any one thing. We're the energy behind all of these crazy things that we explore, right? We're exploring things, all of it, and it's endless. But why are you calling yourself any one thing? And when you do that, and it's a negative one, you're labeling yourself something in a creative space that makes it so. I have PTSD, I have ADHD. Well, yes, we do go through trauma, but when you name it, you're saying, that's what I am. I have ADHD. Well, you know what I call ADHD? By the way, I was a former investment banker. The billionaires I worked with all had ADHD, a dynamic disposition. They couldn't pay attention to any one thing, but they learned how to focus and make things happen. They never had one thing going, they had 100 things going. That's what made them so brilliant. So you can take that and say that's negative. Poor me, I have ADHD, and it's an excuse sometimes to fail. And then you say, see, I have this thing going on here. I said, really? I'll give you 100 other people that have that and used it. Every inventor had ADHD. They didn't have one invention going at one time. They had 500. Jefferson, all of them. Edison, Einstein, ADHD, Arcturian. Nobody ever claims to be a reptilian. Have you ever noticed that? It's always some superior thing. Why? Can you let it go? And by the way, I'm not saying it's necessarily bad unless you want to box yourself into some one thing. But are you really that thing? Where'd you come up with that? Did you need to label yourself to feel worthy? Because I'm going to tell you something right now. You're already perfect. You're absolutely perfect. Yeah, you don't need to name yourself anything. And by the way, other people are going to name you. That's bad enough. Oh, you're absent-minded. You're clumsy. You're forgetful. And then you start to believe it. And then you make it happen because what we focus on, we create. And we're doing it all day. And we don't realize this is real. This is quantum physics. Scientists have proven that their focus, particle, wave, it changes the results. Something so simple as naming yourself boxes you in. What if you are the expansive expression of the universe walking around with no limits, expressing itself in a role and using that beautiful power, creative power that you have within the role? Because you know, when you leave here, you go back to the expansive space where you don't have any roles or limits, and then you choose a new one. You just get to transform energy constantly, constantly, constantly. How cool is that? You are not below anybody, nor are you above. You're perfect. Everyone is. Don't forget that. So when you name another one, they're crazy, they're negative, they're this, they're. You are naming and judging the creation of Source. Yes, you are doing that. You are naming the creation of Source. You're taking away for yourself, not them, the beauty of what they are. Even darkness is free will given to us by the One. And so we need to make better choices, don't we? If we want to live in a world where we are not judged or named, then we must end it ourselves and start with not calling yourself any one thing. People ask me what you are. I said, I don't know. I don't know. People call me Landria. That was my given name. I love that name, by the way. Landria Anka. Cool. I'm the only one on the entire planet. I love it, but it's temporary. And so are you. Only the role, not the energy that plays the role. So what labels are you using? Are you calling yourself something to try to be important or superior to somebody? I'm an Arcturian, so you don't know what you're talking about. In other words, I do. No, no, no. Oh, he without sin cast the first stone. And I'm not a person who's ever even read the Bible, but I know there's some pretty good stuff in there. And one of them is, these things you shall do and more. Nobody has more information or power over you. So if you think there's some negative entity or something that can overpower you physically, absolutely, that's part of the game. Any other way, can't destroy you. Can't diminish your energy either. People say they're energy vampires, right? There's another, they're energy vampires. Oh, please give me a break. Doesn't exist. Unless you believe it, then you can create it. So you have some, they're sucking my energy. It's impossible. We're all one energy. How can they suck the energy out of you? Right? Unless you believe it. And you have to offer that up. And that belief system will make it true. So what name? What name would you like to get rid of today? What would you like to get rid of today? And if somebody says, wow, you're generous, you're beautiful, say thank you and accept that gift. But don't get too attached to it. Attachment, keep you down here. Ego likes the names. So if you're calling yourself a starseed, then what are you saying? Everybody else isn't? Those others are not as important as you? Or you're the savior for the world and you're going to be here and doing something for the lowly people over here? Well, those lowly people are our best teachers. The bum on the street, the drug addict absolutely serve probably more value than the awakened person who sits home and meditates and, right? It's equal. It's equal. It's an experience here. It's all meant to mesh beautifully. So that person that you look down on, your best teacher, it's all about how you behave. It's all about what you give and what you offer. It's not about names or positions. It's about how we treat one another. How we treat one another. That's it. It's that simple. And there's no name to that. And when you go beyond here, this planet, there are no names. We will say Mother Mary, Archangel Michael. We have all these names. They don't have names. There's no names for the power of all things because it's not isolated to any one thing. But if we need to call it names, it allows that. But ultimately, it's just beautiful, as are you. Ready to give up your name? Think about what you call yourself, that maybe you're ready to let go, right? I'm this, I'm that. No, you're not. Unless you claim it, you're all powerful. You're an absolutely perfect being. How can you not be? Source doesn't make mistakes. I'll see you in the next video. And if you haven't read my book, Breakthrough Fear, Your Spiritual Butt Kick, give it a try. It'll answer all of your questions. Yeah, seriously, the answers to the universe and what's going on right now, the tipping point, the knowing. Go check it out on Amazon. It might be the last spiritual book you ever have to read. I'll see you there.